Hello, hello. Welcome to the SoulShape Podcast, where we focus on your spiritual fitness and what we like to call our energetic self-care. We're sisters and the co-founders of SoulShape, a quantum wellness app to make it easier and accessible to find healing practitioners in the energy healing world. We want to have soulful conversations about spirituality and wellness. And whether you're dabbling or taking a deep dive into energy healing, whether it's from oracles to shamans or life wellness coaches to intuitive guides to energy workers to nutritionists, it's all there. We want to introduce modalities and healing practitioners to you one by one. So it's time to get into SoulShape. Are you ready to get into SoulShape? Where the wellness starts within. My name is LJ Woodard, and this is my sister, Leslie Bennett. What are we talking about today, Leslie?
We got a good one up. We have Anita Bloom, and we're talking about
Atia Bloom.
Yeah. Oh my God, did I mess that up?
Anita in the room?
Just because we're nervous.
Oh my God, Anita's in the room. Anita Franklin, welcome back.
Thank you.
No, we have Atia. How did I mess that up? My apologies. So Atia Bloom, and we're talking about finding your calm. My nerves must, or maybe
It's
we are
okay.
really channeling Aretha Franklin, because we were singing before we started the podcast, although not Aretha, we were singing Prince. But okay.
We're digressing.
Yeah, so tell us about Atia.
So Atia Bloom is an energy healer and an health coach. After years of exploring her own relationship with depression and anxiety, she felt inspired to share with others the same tools and lessons that unlocked her own personal growth. And over a decade of insights that led to the birth of Say So Soul, a sacred and inspiring space that illuminates your soul's expressions and ignites the spirit to transform. Her services include Reiki energy healing, meditation, breathwork, sacred sound, spiritual foot bath, and nutrition coaching. Plus, it's her birthday week, right?
Yeah,
Yes, it
happy
is.
birthday.
I know.
Thank
Birthday
you.
girl in the
Is today the day?
house.
No, it's a few days from today.
Okay, I was gonna say,
Oh,
like,
but
wow,
it's
we have
like-
I'm celebrating. I'm here.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's the birthday week. So, Say So Soul. Tell us what inspired you. Tell us about Say So Soul, how that started.
Yeah, so Say Soul was born 5 years ago, but under a different name, actually. Originally, it was called 1111. And I'm sure many of us in the house here are familiar
We
with that.
love that number.
Yes. But it was really just a natural call from within. I remember sitting at Carolina Beach and I had just gone through a breakup. It was a really ugly breakup. And I was probably ugly crying and just feeling really down inside. And I just heard something say, make affirmation cards. And I'm like, what are affirmation cards? So I started looking into it, and I find the Louise Hay and things like that.
Sure.
These decks
Yep.
where there are positive messages there to help to influence your path or your mood. And I said, oh, make these? For who? And I didn't know at the time for who, but I felt like possibly, just for me and helping me to navigate through that breakup at the time.
Yeah.
So I went on this path of creating these affirmation cards under 1111, and it's just really evolved from the affirmations to all these other modalities, which puts me in this place of being the integrative health coach that I am.
The integrative health coach. That's what I was struggling with, that word, integrative. So you're almost like you're healing yourself, and then it ends up healing others.
Exactly.
Well, the reason Atia is here today, we would like to have a theme, and with Atia, it's finding your calm. And can you just hear her voice? Just her voice alone.
I know.
So-
It's like we found this moment of Zen. It's so, I feel very calm just being in your presence. So, and for those that are only listening, she's a beautiful woman. I mean, she's just glowing inside and out. And I feel that whoever broke up with you, his big loss.
Yeah,
but
I
maybe
agree.
it was a blessing. But maybe it was a blessing, right?
Not
Bummer.
surely that.
Yeah,
Bummer for you.
yeah, bummer for you.
But I think that's the cool part about, the breakups and the traumas and things like that
Yeah,
we
they
go
become
through.
blessings,
They
right? The
really
breakups
do.
to blessings.
You
That's-
glow up after that.
So
Glow up?
Glow up.
I've never heard that. That might be my soulful stretch at the end. I'm going to save that. Okay. So, all right.
Atia, find your calm. She has on the SoulShape.app, she has a listing called it's a virtual retreat called Find Your Calm. And that's why I brought up the word calm, because that's her listing. Tell us about this program and your coaching with it. What is it?
Yeah, so it's a 10-week program in a group setting where we'll virtually meet. I'm actually calling it a virtual retreat. And through this program, I'm teaching people really practical strategies to be able to better manage your stress, better manage your anxieties, and through that, just really being able to adopt this lifestyle where you are integrated into a sense of calm and peace in every aspect of your life. And not in a way as to where, all these things we mentioned earlier, like the meditation, the breath work, the nutrition. If you're on TikTok, you kind of see all these morning and night routines that are so extensive. It's not a checklist. It's not this obligation, but rather where can you find these practices that just make you feel good and more like yourself. So I'll be guiding folks through that together through 10 weeks. And I think the coolest part of it is at the end, we're going to have a student-led retreat. So anything that the students have learned throughout that time, they'll be able to lead the other folks within the program at our last gathering together. So I'm most excited about that.
Well,
I can tell. It's great.
I think you're excited about that, but I would be, as someone who's listening, I'm like, oh my God, I have to lead a retreat. Oh my God, that's not for me. And what would you say to that person? Because I kind of started going, I know in some of my early parts of my journey, that would have scared the bejesus out of me.
And I've thought about that.
Yeah.
I've thought about that, and I would feel the same exact way. But I think that's just part of the journey, right?
Yeah.
Those who are going into this program is because we have so many similarities. We might have the anxiety, the nervousness, we might want to hide and such, but you're learning tools. And we need to be able to put those tools into practice. And I feel like so often we, especially in the spiritual community, we gather, learn all these things, want to experience all these things, download all these things. But again, we never integrate it and put it out into use.
Those are two key things. I think, I'm going to bring up one that, I think sometimes we need to be pushed out of our comfort into discomfort in order for us to grow, number one. But two, I think part of that journey is to allow. There's, while you may have heard, oh my God, I have to lead something, and that may have caused you, but what if that was maybe the door to something more, and to integrate and hardwire the allowing and being mindful and these moments. I'm so excited about this program. I think this is really, really cool because I think about it in multiple different levels. Just seeing Atia and just her presence, I'm sure she sounds very calming to the listeners, but she's very calming in her presence. And I can imagine a calming retreat would really help someone if someone's in high stress or just going through maybe a bad breakup and just needs, to get in that sense of calm. Because in that sense of calm, so many things happen, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. And you speak about the things that happen in our lives, like the breakups and, stress at work, things like that. But I also think about it from, health perspective. Those that might be dealing with hormonal imbalances, high blood pressure, so many things. That's all connected to the sense of calm that you can create within yourself. Because when you adopt the practices that we've mentioned here today, like the meditations and the nutrition and the routines and such, you create chemical shifts within your body that brings, all those challenges with your health back into order. So, it's not, solely about feeling good and feeling maybe accomplished through the routines, but also coming into wholeness with your body and everything that's going on outside of you as well as inside of you. So really looking at yourself from a multi-dimensional sense of self.
I think I'm going to sign my husband up. I love you, but I think it's like it would be just, it might just be the core to, when you want to launch your healing journey or launch anything like into this energetic self-care, where do I begin? We've talked to, you also do Reiki. We've talked to Reiki practitioners on here, channelers and life coaches. Like, where do you begin? I mean, you can start anywhere. And we do have a guide on our website that you can download where you can learn about all the different modalities. But if you're looking for just a place to launch, this seems ideal because it's virtual. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm in my home. I can be anywhere. I'm on the road. Let's say I'm traveling. And just to meet with a collective group, and go through the process. I don't know. Part of me, that sounds really lovely.
Yeah. I think also, Atia, I'm thinking about all these different situations that I've been in my life. Like, there was a period where I was in a job where I came home and I would just sulk on the couch. And I remember my husband saying, "Is this how life's going to be?
Mm-hmm.
You come home and this is your life on the couch." And, my husband was a professional sailor. And there was a line I said that became kind of a joke. We turned to, sort of an argument, and we didn't really argue. But I said, "Well, what do you know? You pull rope and lean for a living. You don't know me." And that was really unfair, but we laughed about it because,
Right.
Whenever something's stressful, all you can do is pull rope and lean. But, for me, I think there's times in our lives where we're just so, I don't know what the right word is, but if you could see my hands, I just feel, restricted. Maybe that's the word, restricted in, like, how do I deal with this situation? I could go find a job, or I could just deal with my own emotional state so that when I come home, I'm not affecting my marriage, So I really like that idea. So I guess, is there some tool or something that you can get people excited about this Calm program that you're like, oh, we're going to start here, and this is something that is fundamental?
Yeah, well, so many things came to mind when you asked me that question. But I think that what would be most interesting about the program really is that health perspective, because it's something that we don't get in school unless we're going to med school. But so much of this is about really being able to understand your nervous system and how to work with the body. Because so many of us, especially in this world where, things are just moving so quickly, there are a lot of really traumatic events happening globally, but in our own lives. What we don't realize is that for the most part, where we're operating from is what we call the sympathetic nervous system, that fight, flight, freeze response. And when you're used to operating in that state, it's hard to switch to the parasympathetic side, the rest and adjust side that people call it, because it's just not our natural state. It's not our normal. So within this program, we really dive into understanding the body on so many different levels. And my goal is for folks to walk out of this really being able to understand where they are today and how they can more gracefully flip that switch from, okay, I've got to run. Okay, I've got to avoid. Okay, I'm just going to freeze. I don't know what to do, to having tools in their pocket that they could pull out at any point in time, wherever they are, to be able to slow down.
I think that's really important. I know you at the beginning of this.
Look how well I'm slowing down. Do you notice I'm slowing down?
I do. You're very calm. You know my sister. She's really...
I'm taking it.
She's the extrovert. I'm the introvert. Although we can flex to the opposite, but she's a natural extrovert. I mean, the girl's got a smile.
I'm trying to impress it to you. Look, I'm slowing down. I can do it.
Yeah. And you're making me lose my train of thought. That's okay. I think at the beginning you talked about like checklists, like we see on TikTok, checklist, which also creates a stress. Like, oh my God, if I do this, I'll get that. And I really like what you just said in that, you can create tools, and it might be situational. Like today, it might just be, I just breathe, and that might be all I need to get from one system to the other system, right?
No, absolutely.
And I think also what's really important, I think, too, from what I just heard from you, is being able to recognize when I'm in that fight or flight, even though because it's my normal, I don't realize that I'm there, because that's my coping mechanism for how I get through my day. But when you can say, hey, wait, look, dude or dudette, you need to be over here. And in that state, you can just go, okay, life's working out for me, man.
No, it is just that. And I think that, even the more advanced level to that, where I hope people get post the program, is in a space of being able to anticipate their needs. So, for example, funny enough, being on camera makes me a bit nervous. And I knew that about myself. So going into, even starting last night, I made sure I took my magnesium glycinate to help me relax. I went to sleep a little bit early. I woke up and had a slow morning. I did a little journaling, and I still found my anxiety kicking up. So I said, okay, let me have a cup of hot cocoa and some ashwagandha to calm me down.
Yes.
Still a little nervous. I said, okay, well, it's hard to be nervous and not so calm when you're having fun. So let me dig into my makeup and do my hair a little bit, and that helped.
Yeah.
It's in the little things.
That's really important too. It's those little things that can create big shifts.
Yes.
Right? And I think we're so hardwired that we have to do these grand gestures in order to fix things. I know I have a friend of mine who is in a relationship, and they have these moments of great weekends, and then there's these periods of, whatever they are, and then the
Life.
well, no, it's a weird cycle, and I'm not going to go into it.
Daily life.
No, they go through this it's a weird. They're whatever their journey they're on. It's very interesting because they'll have these great romantic weekends, and then they'll have whatever space, and it's not like they're fighting. It's just they go off on their own directions and they come back, but the comeback is always through a grand gesture. It's very interesting, and I don't know what my point was by bringing that up because I totally lost it.
It was about tools,
Tools.
I think, right?
Oh, no, the expectation.
Oh, expectation, yeah.
It was more about that expectation of, that something subtle as a hot cocoa or a journal or a, getting your hair and makeup done. I know our mom, remember Mom? Whenever.
I remember our mom.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I do. And you know what? No,
But do you know what she did whenever we got bullied or, something bad happened? What did she do?
took us shopping.
Oh, really?
She's a big shop therapist.
Yeah. Do you guys need a third sister?
Yeah.
Well, my mom has passed.
Mom has passed, but gosh, I mean, man, she just loved to go shopping, and it was nothing like a new
so that we would
outfit
feel
or a
good
coat
about
or-
ourselves, and that it's probably not the best thing to do because it's a weird coping mechanism.
Especially something
to
that
do,
I
but-
need. Look at this yellow leather jacket. It's dynamic. I'm like, where am I ever going to wear this? But wow, it's great.
Right?
Yeah.
You wear it on your sad days.
I
You
know.
wear it on
us
your
to
anxious
sh-
days.
but whether we bought something or not, she got us to shift out of our own
It
system.
was a shift.
So, I guess the question here, and I'm known for long questions and storytelling in my questions, is that, the expectation that, I really appreciate your story by saying, it wasn't just one thing that got me into a state of calm. I tried this. That got me a little bit there. I needed a little bit more, so I added a little bit of, whatever, sprinkled on some of this and that, and you got here, and you're doing great, by the way.
Thank you.
So I guess that's another thing for people to take away is that it's not one fix,
No, that's for sure. It's at least at this point for me, what I recognize it as is a lifestyle.
Calm lifestyle. Who doesn't want that? Sign me up, right?
I mean, I think depending on your levels of anxiety, we all get a little bit of it. It's like if you've never traveled before, if you've never performed on a stage, or if you've never, first day of school, I've never gone to school before, because I work a lot with children. I feel like I'm a big believer in showing them. I'm going to do it first. I'm going to show you so you know exactly what to expect, and look how fun it is. And I'll mess up and make mistakes, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to go on. So I think just I don't know. There's a little bit of that, like when you talk about expectations, all these little things to create your own calm, to maybe practice it first, or what is that word I'm looking for? Try it.
Grace.
Yeah.
I think grace.
You know,
Grace.
Grace.
Towards yourself.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. I think grace as well as a lot of self-compassion. You know, when I speak about all of these remedies to ease the anxiety and the stress and such, it's not in a way to reject it or to say that it's a bad thing or that it shouldn't be there, because stress serves a purpose. Cortisol is there for a reason and it can be good.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think it's important that we adopt these practices while also honoring the feelings that are still there. So, you know, before I, did all these things this morning and last night, I'm also having these conversations with myself around or with the anxiety and asking, okay, why are you here? What do you want to tell me this time? Is there actually danger? No? Okay, well, let me just coddle you and we'll get through this together.
Yeah, that's really cool.
It's like, it is like, that's so nice. Like,
You have to be nice to yourself.
it's like, oh, don't
Laura's
you
just sitting here going, oh my God.
what a lovely young woman. It's like, I mean, are you in a relationship?
I am.
Oh, you are. So we can't set you up with someone. Okay, never mind. It's like Rob, aren't you ready to like set her up with a friend? Like, what a lovely. Okay, so we digress a little bit. So when we had the joy of going into your studio that you have, where you practice Reiki and your energy healing work. How did Reiki? What brought you to the world of Reiki? I'm curious about that.
Oh my gosh. A number of synchronicities. Long story short, I was in maybe my first or second year of college. Yes, because I guess that's where you might say that where my story originated. Because I went through this deep bout of depression. You know, things just weren't what I expected them to be in this real world.
And expectations can mess with you, don't
Yeah.
they? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that word keeps coming up today.
I know. Expectations. Expectations versus calm, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, we interrupted. You have these, you're in college.
Yes, I'm in college. I'm depressed. I'm alone. I don't have any money. I don't really know why I'm studying what I'm studying. Things are just not looking great.
Yeah.
And I just needed something. And I just kind of called out there to the universe, really. And I just bawled night after night. And I said, I need help. Help me. A plea, really. And things started coming my way. And one of the first things was therapy. My college was offering that, and my therapist at the time introduced me to the meditation and the mindfulness and the affirmations, which was really great. And it gave me a really solid foundation to just feel okay.
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes we just need to get to that point.
And that should be recognized too. When we get out of the hole and we, have our head above the, that hole, and we can see out, that being able to see, even though we're not totally out, and we don't know what direction we're going to, I think that's an important moment to recognize and not overlook that I have to be 100%. I have to be thriving. You can take these little moments and go, you know what? This is good enough for now. And let me just be here so I can integrate the shift that just occurred.
Yeah. And when you're used to being in a space that's so low and so dark, being just okay feels
It's a win.
amazing.
It's a win.
Yes.
It's a win.
And so in that space, it's when I started to see all these signs like the angel numbers. And one of the signs I saw was a literal sign that said, go west. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, spring break's coming up. I should go to California. So I start Googling things to do in California, like all this woo-woo hippie stuff comes up.
Yeah.
And at the time, I was transitioning to be a woo-woo hippie girl. And I came across Reiki, and there was this lovely woman named Lotus, and she had a Reiki studio in San Diego, not too far from La Jolla.
Shout out to Lotus.
Right?
Hi, Lotus. Love
And
the
so
name.
I booked the flight for spring break by myself, my first trip ever, first time being on a plane. And I went out there and I got a
brave
Reiki
girl.
session, and it changed my life. I didn't have my cycle for like months before that. Again, the depression and such.
Yeah.
But on the plane, I ended up flowing.
Yeah.
I got my cycle.
Damn it.
And things just...
Damn damn it.
No, we celebrate
We're like,
that
"That's
around
great."
here.
I know. Well, yeah, right.
There was a time in my life where they'd be like, yes.
Yes. Waiting every
and
month.
flow on the plane. Oh, but anyway.
No,
but
it was
yeah,
good
there's some
news.
good and bad, right? There's
Yeah.
times you love it.
It's
There's
because
times you're like,
it was a true release. You were like, I'm trying
It
something,
was.
adventure, going.
It was.
You
And
get that,
all
Rob?
these
Isn't this fun? Welcome to the Period Podcast.
Exactly. Where we go with the flow. But the Reiki session with Lotus, it just really, Reiki in itself just kind of triggers all these things that happen in your life. It opens you up in so many ways. And it just put me on this path to spirituality that unfolded so organically. And I personally always felt a connection, to energy through my hands. My family, it resonates with them as laying hands. So it's been a gift that's there naturally, and life kind of led me to the practice. And, I was attuned to Reiki 1 as well as Reiki 2.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, I do love that. I love that story. I love that it led to San Diego.
I know, right? La
We're
Jolla.
from San Diego, and we're from La Jolla.
we grew up in La
You
Jolla.
are?
Yeah.
LJHS.
you not know that?
No.
Yeah, no, we grew up in La Jolla. I still live in San Diego now.
Take me there.
Okay,
Anytime.
we can go. Let's
I'm
go.
little, you guys. I can fit in her suitcase.
Yeah. I have a spare bedroom, so you can come anytime.
Okay.
So the other thing that you do in your practice is nutrition based. And how important is that? Tell me about like the nutrition factor. I mean, we all know it's important. Might be even the core.
Yep, I'd agree with that. That kind of goes back to that time in college too, where I was just kind of looking for what will work for me. So I have to tell this story.
Okay.
I did this vegan challenge that was actually inspired by Beyonce. There was like all in the headlines that Beyonce had did this 21-day vegan challenge, and that's how she like got so snatched or whatever. So I tried it, but
Why not? If Beyonce
You love
could
a
do
good
it.
exactly.
You love a good
It's
beat challenge.
Beyonce. But by the end of the challenge, what I didn't expect was to feel so energized and so full of life. And I had discovered all these foods that were never on my plate before.
Yeah.
So
See,
that was
that's
kind of
cool.
the start of the journey there. And I had just always, had this a part of my lifestyle and help friends and family. And about a year ago, I decided to enroll at the Integrative Institute of Nutrition to take it deeper and not only understand, how whole, nutritious foods impact us anecdotally, but I really wanted to know how it impacts us on a cellular level, on a molecular level.
On a healing level.
On a healing level.
Food is medicine.
It's
It
life
is.
changing. It's a game changer. It's everything.
Mhm.
God, I know. It makes me like I'm kind of
You want a
hungry.
salad?
Yeah,
I brought some snacks.
I'm hungry.
I brought
Do you
some
want a
Brazil
salad?
nuts.
A vegan meal.
Like, what salad are we going to have after this podcast? Yeah.
No, I bring up all this stuff about you because when, your services that are listed on the SoulShape app, not only when you're booking with Atia, whether it be a program like Finding Your Calm or Reiki or nutritional counseling, is there anything else that stands out that you would like to promote right now or share?
Well, we touched on the affirmation cards, and that's where everything started for me. Really having a moment with my thoughts, my mind, my feelings. So the affirmation cards are my little baby. You can find them at saysoulsoul.com. It's a 48 card deck that explores 24 different self-loving themes. So it takes a really gentle approach to getting you to investigate your own ideas about self-love and just journeying through that day by day.
And for those that don't know anything about affirmation cards, I mean, I think we're just assuming like who buys affirmation? Who are they for? What are they for? Tell us
Well, how did you use them? I know
Yeah.
you had affirmations and you got led to on the ugly cry on the beach. I just love that, by the way. I don't know why, but I mean, I'm sorry for the breakup, but not sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
No, I'm not
right?
sorry either.
Sorry, not sorry.
Come a
right?
long way.
Sorry, not sorry. Oh, sorry, I can't sing, right? Oh, I can sing.
But how did you use them to create your shifts, or your expansion or whatever, your development of the soul love muscle, if you will.
Yeah, totally. So for me, affirmations are extremely helpful in helping to kickstart that shift in your perspective. Because when we're going through so much and we're feeling so down, so low, or just maybe fed a lot of inaccurate stories about ourselves
Yeah.
or where we're supposed to go and who we're supposed to be, it's hard to think differently than those stories. So I like to use them in a number of ways, but the simplest way is to just shuffle the card deck, pull one out at random, and just really sit on it. Oftentimes you'll find that it challenges the thought that you had. You might feel a sense of relief. With my deck in particular, some people are a little spooked by it because it's almost like it just reads you right away. Like whatever card you're pulling out, I promise you, it's going to relate to something that's going on at this moment in time.
That's the power of the cards.
Yeah. Yeah.
The cards never lie.
They don't. And a lot of people like to use them in combination with tarot, which I love as well. You can use them for journaling. My own therapist uses them in our session. So there's a number of ways that you can use them, especially with kids.
Well, it's also playful. It's fun.
Yeah.
I have a deck of cards that I didn't even know what I was doing or what they really were right when the kids were born. And on our road trips, I had that mermaids and dolphins card, and we just would love to pull a card, do the description and everything. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what I was doing.
Yeah. I love the magic of the cards because they do seem to resonate. And you're like, well, I could pick any card and everything would resonate. No, it doesn't, because I've tried to just read the other
Test
cards
it.
and I'm like, well, that wouldn't apply, that wouldn't apply, that wouldn't apply. So just to sort of test it, because, the inner skeptic.
Yeah,
right?
that's
We
fair.
all have it.
That's fair.
But, I just, we had Heather in here not too long ago. And, she's all about trusting the universe. And so if you trust the universe, a card you pick is what you need to hear. So we like that too. I like magic.
Trust 'em.
I like the magic of the cards.
Well, it is that time, Leslie.
It is that time for that soulful stretch. The soulful stretch is where we reflect back on this conversation to see where we've changed a perspective or a belief or just expanded a thought. So my soulful stretch was just stated a few minutes ago in regards to using cards to kickstart a perspective. I hadn't thought of affirmation cards. I thought it was more of like, I'm going to will myself into this belief. And really, it's just starting the conversation. And that's a new perspective for me. So I really appreciate that. So that was my soulful stretch. LJ?
And I think it's funny because that was one when she said the word kickstart, I liked that too. So I'm going to share that soulful stretch because sometimes I think of the cards in the deck sometimes to be, it's not like a prediction of the future,
Yeah.
and so, it's like when you get the death card, you're like, what? It doesn't mean it can mean a lot of different things beyond death. But the thing is, I like the kickstart. I like thinking of it in a different way. So, and I have a deck. Maybe I'll get a Say Soul card deck, Say Soul card deck.
Yes, I
to
hope
keep on
to
my
bring
bedside.
them.
So it's kind of like when you wake up, pull a card or something during my morning coffee. I like that.
All right,
Love
you're up.
it. My soulful stretch. Well, we've spoken today quite a bit about perspective and the magic of things. And I've been shifting my perspective into this idea that things don't have to happen in the way that I expect them to play out, in the sense that it could be miraculous. I might think that it might take me a year to accomplish something, but now I'm working to be a bit more open in that someone could walk into the store right now and say, I'm your genie, what's your wish?
And we're open to that. Come on in.
Right?
Jeannie.
Where are you?
I can use you now.
Hello.
But, so if I'm going back to Heather, I trust that could happen.
Wow. Well, I know who's coming next. She is kind of like a genie. Anyways, well, on that thought, we're going to wrap this up and we're going to say thank you, Atia. Thank you so much for being a guest on the SoulShape podcast. And thank you to our listeners. Thank you, Signal Fire Media. We truly believe wellness starts within, and We want you to unlock unlimited possibilities with energetic healing. Embrace that woo. Dabble, dive, or discover your next healing experience on the SoulShape app. You can find all the links in the show notes and how to book with Atia and the energetic self-care guide. There's so many wonderful things for you to discover through SoulShape. So we hope you enjoyed this soulful conversation, and join us again for another magical, soulful, energetic healing time on the SoulShape Podcast.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And Leslie says, don't forget to like and follow and subscribe. Thank you, Big Sis.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.